Uh, a role model. So, what exactly is a role model? A role model is about humans, right? Or can a non-human, or can any object be my role model? I'm not very sure. But then, like for instance, most of the people would say my father was a role model, my grandfather was a role model, my mother was a role model, my grandparents were a role model. Fair enough. But can I really say that Gandhi is my role model? What do I really know about Gandhi? All I know about Gandhi is that he fought for India's freedom. I have read that Gandhi used to live in Sabarmati in Ahmedabad. I have read that he went to England. He was a barrister. He was a part of Congress. He believed in non-violence. What else do I know? I mean, I have not gone inside Gandhi's mind. I have not interacted with him. So I believe a real role model can be one person with whom you have interacted. Right. So now you know that interaction is a very important part, and you really got to interact with somebody to decide whether this person can be your role model or not. Like, for instance, I interact a lot with my wife. So, can she? Of course, she can be my role model. But then the truth is that there are a whole lot of things that we do together, and because we do a whole lot of things together, uh, sometimes you feel that whatever she has done is partly because of my contribution. So, can she really be a good role model? No. But then I am going to talk about my son. People talk about fathers, grandfathers, as I said earlier. People talk about Gandhi and many other famous people. But then I'm going to talk about PP. PP is my role model. My role model because of my interaction with him, because of the fact that there are a whole lot of things that he has done and he has inspired me to do. So when we talk of role models, we need to understand that there are three ways in which I or you or anybody else would be interacting. One is how a role model affects your mind. The other is how a role model affects your body, and what sort of inspirations you take from somebody so far as interactions are concerned. So mind, body and interactions. These are three aspects that we are going to talk about. And these are the three aspects which have convinced me that my role model is PP. Mind. So, when you talk of mind, one of the things that you connect a mind with is books. And when we talk of books, and when I want to talk of PP, I distinctly remember that right from his early age, PP or Pushkin is his real name, uh, was very fond of books, and there are a whole lot of books that I have actually read because PP has read, and he has recommended those books to me. And believe me, this has been happening not in the past 2 years or 3 years. It has been happening ever since maybe 20 or more than 20 years back. So you see, I've read Roald Dahl, I've read Ruskin Bond, I've read so many others. Even now, what was that book all about? Something to do. Oh, Adrian Mole's Diaries. Now, these are books which I had not read when I was a little child. I remember I used to read Bigglesworth, I used to read Gimlet, I used to read Enid Blyton. But then these are the books that I have read because of Pushkin. I've read J.K. Rowling because of Pushkin. I've read, and what I'm talking about is books that I've read years back. Now, he inspires me to read a whole lot of other books which are design related, which tell me how to awaken the artist in me, how to awaken the writer in me. And This is what matters. And when you follow a person's reading habits, you automatically start feeling that he is your role model. So PP is my role model. The mind is what we were talking about. And the mind is connected to technology and art, both. So PP here is an expert in computing. He is a superb photographer. It is PP who taught me the finer nuances of photography. It is PP who helps me every time that my laptop boggles me. Every time I have to know what to do, how to do. There are so many new things happening in the world of computers. And every time, whether I am in London or in India, I call him up, hello, ye kaise karna hai? And he explains to me. Now, this kind of explanation comes only when you are an expert. And the mind is not just connected with technology, photography, as I said, art. Look at the walls. You see, it is that innate design sense in him that has always sort of impressed me. And every time I want to make a little pamphlet, every time I am composing a photograph, every time I am doing anything for any of the walls in my own house, in Delhi for instance, what PP tells me always comes to my mind. So, this is an important aspect. This qualifies PP as my role model. Look at this. I want a tummy that is protruding. And this is one aspect that PP this time told me that in 2 months we got to reduce by at least 10 kg. I said no, 20. But then, look at me. I'm relaxing here. But let me tell you that in the past week, past 20 odd days, 20 odd days, I must have walked for an average of almost 8 to 10 kilometers per day, which means 8 into 20 is 160 kilometers. I have run a small 5 kilometer run Hackney over here, and the weighing scale in the bathroom says that I've reduced my weight by approximately 5 kg already. So I'm on my way, well on my way to better fitness, and all because of PP. Now, let me tell you something about PP. You see, there was a time, long time back, years back, when I used to make him run. But then, you see, that's the thing with role models. They learn and then they teach. Now, what does PP do for his physical fitness? He cycles to his office in London. He does a lot of rowing. He jogs, he runs, he walks. And, you see, he takes part in a lot of these little 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer races. Now, there was one race he told me where he dressed up as Santa and he ran in London. So, you see, all these little bits of information that he keeps giving me, they are those bits of information which inspire me to make sure that my fitness level doesn't go down below a critical level. You see, so mental, physical. The third and the most important part, and not really the most important, but a very important part, is how you interact with your surroundings. What is the level of interaction? Now let me tell you, if I am on Facebook, I am on Facebook today, I am on Twitter today, I am on LinkedIn today, I'm on almost every social media platform. Why? There was a time when It was PP who went on all these platforms, and instead of, like, I've heard of many teenagers and many youngsters making sure that their parents don't enter the portals of social media. He, in fact, was a person who inspired the two of us, me and my wife, to come online and become experts here. So now this is the virtual interaction that I'm talking about. But when it comes to physical interaction, he is a very, very friendly person. And this friendliness is again something that his aspects of friendliness is something that I always look towards, and get little inspirations, so that even I'm more of a recluse. I don't interact much. I don't like to go and meet people. But then he keeps on prodding me that this is a very important part of life. And well, that's it. So these are the reasons why I am convinced that I would rate him as my, I would rate PP as my role model,